be the past. Just know Bam gonna be good and turn up on their ass. It's your time, it's his time, it's Bam's time. Bam's time to shine. Hey man, back at it again with another reaction video. I told y'all my last Michael Jackson video, because y'all been wanting that reaction. I gave it to y'all. If y'all gave me at least 5 likes, I will drop another one for y'all. We got 5 likes on it. So now, can we get 10 likes and I drop another one? I want y'all to comment which one y'all want me to react to. One of y'all commented a documentary that I have to check out on my own time because I can't react. That was damn near 6 hours long. If this video gets at least 10 likes, 10, I'm talking to you. Just get at least 10 likes. I drop another one for y'all. Y'all gotta run it up though. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to comment one specifically you want me to react to. I gotta look at do my own little research. So we have Elvis versus Michael Jackson, the secret lives of 2 music icons, the detail. Now, I don't know much about Elvis Presley. The most shit I know about Elvis Presley is that Uncle Jesse from Full House was his biggest fan. That was the #1 fanboy of Elvis Presley. He had the same hair as him. Like he was the #1 fan. That's what I know. I heard Elvis Presley had hoes back in the day too. Even though he dressed a certain way, they said he had hoes. You know what I'm saying? So that's as much shit as I know about him. I know they tried to pin him and Mike against each other. So I can't really say Michael Jackson's better than him, even though I'm gonna say it. I can't really say it, but I'm still gonna say it. It's kind of an illogical thing for me to do, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Let's get straight into this video.
Like no other can 2 superstars be compared to than Michael Jackson and Elvis Presley. The searing white heat of unimaginable fame and Elvis Presley.
Uncle Jesse, from Full House, he tried to look like that man to a T. They knew what they was. And them writers are smart. Cause from this angle, when his hair was a little shorter, Uncle Jesse, you could kind of see a little, y'all know I'm not bullshitting. You could damn near put them together.
Searing white heat of unimaginable fame, adulation, and the mania that came with it. Both legacies are undeniable in terms of their impact on music, performance, celebrity, and the trajectory of modern popular culture.
Mike, you got to be in the gym, though. I know, Mike, you got to be in the gym if you're going to do that. You got to be in the gym, Mike. Come on, man.
As icons of generation.
Not for me. I'm just saying for the lady. That sounded kind of weird. Maybe I should edit that out. I'm talking about for the lady because you look scrawny as shit, Mike. Rest in peace, but you look scrawny as shit.
In their own right, their momentous lives surprisingly followed eerily similar paths of glory and self-destruction.
Really? Shout out the detail, man.
Presley and Jackson were born poor and went on to become massive musical powerhouses, each selling hundreds of millions of records and reaching unimaginable levels of fame and wealth. Both careers involved moves.
And I said this in my last reaction. I know this video is kind of long because I'm pausing it a lot, but it's a fucking reaction. But I said in my last video, somebody actually commented, how I think Michael Jackson, he would have given up all this fame and stuff to have a regular childhood. Because I think him not having that regular childhood, it sacrificed something. It sacrificed for him to have the fame, status, money that he had, the accomplishments he had. But also it made him want to be a grown adult trying to still relive something that children do. You get what I'm saying? That's why he had the museum in his house, not the museum, the carnival at his, at his house. He was still trying to, he didn't, even with all that shit, I don't think he was fulfilled. And I think if he was alive to this day, he probably has said that on video before, that he still, it was still something he was, that's why I say, that's partly why I always said money is not everything, because clearly it wasn't. It's always the motherfuckers with money that say it's not everything. And then the people who don't have their money swear that it is everything.
That were part of their attraction. Presley earning the nickname Elvis the Pelvis, while Jackson's legendary moonwalk was just one part of a dance-heavy act. Costumes came to symbolize both. Elvis popularizing capes and beaded jumpsuits in Las Vegas, and Jackson becoming known as the Gloved One, as well as popularizing other distinctive clothing items, including...
I feel like that's what musicians, rappers will ever need today. Like, y'all gotta do y'all homework and do y'all research. I'm not saying you gotta be like this, be like these Michael and all these other dudes, but I'm saying find something that it sticks out to you. Maybe if it's a dance, you know what I'm saying? That's what Soulja Boy did when he came out. But get a piece of clothing, something that oh, we know that that's dude, we know that that's bro. Michael had the glove, he had the hat. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's just something like it's your thing. You know, versus you're like, if you say it's such and such man, like at the intro, or when people say their rap name in the beginning of their song when they're about to go, you know?
Fedoras and military-style jackets.
Big ideas.
Obsessive personality traits were part of their lives. Both were music perfectionists, spending long hours in the studio doing take after take until they were satisfied. Quote, Elvis emerged at a point in history where our culture was ready to turn itself upside down, said Dr. John Bach, a professor at the University of Memphis' Department of Communication. Quote, from the Great Depression on to World War II and then into the Cold War, the change in values came a change in music, and you had the impact of what became rock and roll. Elvis stood at the cusp of that generational revolution. In the words of John Lennon, quote, before there was Elvis, there was nothing. Bach also mentioned Michael Jackson when it came to Presley's trailblazing path. Quote, where Elvis co-created a musical art form, Michael largely built on one. Where Elvis changed sexual mores in the conservative wake of World War II, Michael only made shocking crotch-grabbing movements. Elvis was the originator and blueprint for the musical superstar, teen idol, sex symbol, and phenomenon that all other juggernauts have been compared to since.
I know we're not taking shots at Mike right now.
Unsurprisingly, then, that Michael Jackson was heralded as the Elvis Presley of the 80s on countless occasions. Although when asked, Jackson dismissed the idea that Elvis had any kind of influence on him. Quote, as important as he was to music, black as well as white, he just wasn't an influence on me. Jackson revealed, quote, I guess he was too early for me. Maybe it was timing more than anything else. Michael Jackson, who was never shy about citing his many influences, that included Jackie Wilson, Little Richard, James Brown, and Sammy Davis Jr., to name just a few, may have been hesitant to give further props to Elvis, who himself overshadows those who he drew so heavily from, the originators in rock and roll, black music, and performance. Sam Phillips, the Sun Records head who recorded Elvis's breakout hit, That's All Right, had famously remarked, quote, if I could find a white man who had the Negro sound and the Negro feel, I could make $1 billion. Presley's music crossed racial barriers by appealing to both black and white audiences due to his sound, a mix of rhythm and blues, soul and rock. Elvis is regarded as the first, quote, white man to play black man's music. This blurring of racial lines disturbed 1950s parents in a widely segregated America, who experts say worried about the Elvis influence on teenagers, a white guy who hung out in black clubs and incorporated rhythm and blues into his own sound. Jackson also broke through many racial divides in music, as in the infancy of music videos, Jackson was the first black artist to gain constant airplay on MTV, with a sound combining synthesized pop, R&B, rock, and hip-hop that appealed to both black and white listeners. Jackson himself further blurred lines as his physical transformation sparked debate as to his own racial alliances, which...
This is what I mean when I say this. What the fuck, bro? Okay, get that shit out of here. This is what I mean when I say, look, for instance, this face right here, it was so, like, he probably was a great actor. Because when you watch the films, the performance, it is a completely different person on that stage than it is than the man in the interview. I promise you. Like, I don't know. They say musicians, rappers, singers, all of them, is very few of them who actually do what he wasn't a bad person in interviews. I've seen the Oprah one, and that's why I didn't react to that too, by the way, for the person who commented to react to the Oprah one. Or who was it? It was Oprah, right? Yeah. I already watched that years ago. So I already kind of, when I clicked, I'm like, I already watched this. I was getting ready, I turned the camera on. I'm like, I already watched. Hell no, I can't, I already watched this years ago. So that's why I didn't react to that, by the way. Just so you know, if you're watching. But it's like, they say they don't do the best in interviews because of, I don't know, they just don't feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? But this man was a completely different person off stage than he was on stage than he was off stage.
Lines as his physical transformation sparked debate.
Now look at this, bro.
Alliances, which appeared to fall on neither black or white. Like Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson's appeal cut across all sorts of boundaries, not only to people of every racial and economic group, but also of every age. Most rock stars alienated adults with rebellious stances,
I
eccentric
wonder why
dress,
none
and
of his
loud
brothers
volume.
had the little
For all his
stuff he
androgynous
had.
flash, Jackson remained as a warm, comforting figure to many parents and older pop fans. Like Elvis, he had charm, impeccable manners, discreetly soft-spoken, and placed as much value on soothing ballads as he did on his most outlandish of rock tunes. The transgressive nature of both superstars' appeal may be more deep-rooted in general psychological attractiveness that is prevalent in Greek mythology. In the views of James Hillman, an eminent Jungian analyst, the appeal of Jackson was in large part as someone who represents the, quote, puer, a psychological archetype representing an ageless innocence. Quote, an inspired, effeminate, inventive, passive, and capricious persona, who has an, quote, angelic, hermaphroditic quality where masculine and feminine are perfectly joined. The puer archetype, Hillman said, may have had a special appeal to the collective mind of modern America. Quote, as much as we are pressed by the harsh and tough economic realities, the world of the bottom line, and success and failure, we yearn for the time when life was free of all those pressures. Michael Jackson embodies that innocent boy whose life is unfettered, full of style and beauty, without the grit of reality. In contrast, Hillman saw Elvis's universal appeal as juxtaposing that of Jackson's. Quote, stars often embody some crucial psychological characteristic. Elvis Presley, for example, was a Dionysus figure, the seductive man who came to town and stole all the girls.
Yeah,
they carry the repressed side of life,
hoes.
the part people are aching for in their own lives. Although they had many similarities, in the mid-1980s, many journalists saw Jackson as a refreshing contrast to the hedonistic lives that for so many years characterized the world of rock and roll. As Stephen Holden from the New York Times wrote, quote, Elvis, the king of rock and roll, the man who brought aggressive sexuality to the center of popular music, was remembered as an unofficial American monarch, our one and only show business king, who died of his own earthly excesses. Michael,
What did he? Yeah, that I was literally getting ready to ask. How did he pass away?
one and only show business king, who died of his own
1935 to 1977. Oh, so he's greatly older than. Yeah, he was gone before Mike was even. I think. Rock with You, You Want to Be Starting Something. I think those songs was coming out. That was what, 1979, when Michael Jackson first kind of cut off the big ass fro and kind of made it into the little, 1979, that was like, I think 1979 going to 1980 when he first started that. He was gone by 1977? January, is that 6th or 8th? 1935 to August 16th, 1977. So he was, at 2 years, he'll be 37, 1937. So he was, what's that, 42 years? My mental math is bad, y'all, and I'm going to be honest. I'm a very intelligent young man, though. But, so he died at 42? Of what though? Died of his own earthly excesses. Earthly excesses is like what was it? Shit, crazy.
earthly excesses. Michael Jackson, the delicate androgynous man-child, is today's icon of pop music. But if Presley was modern pop's
Androgynous?
symbolic king, Jackson is surely its symbolic savior. Although Michael Jackson's humble demeanor caused the title Peter Pan of Pop to be attached to him, his drive for success and glory simultaneously
Is that a compliment, Peter Pan of Pop? Hey, where I was at? I was at Brandon. I was at some folks' crib, and they was talking about Elvis Presley. This man was gone in 1977. And majority of the people in the house was not born they was probably born late, like 1980, 81. Some of them like, not 81, like late 80s type shit. And they knew, man, this man music must have lived on too.
To compete with the greats that came before him. Quote, the most important thing to him was his legacy, declared his longtime manager Bob Jones. Quote, he feared the fates of Nat King Cole, Sammy Davis Jr., Michael desired to be remembered and worshipped like Elvis. In a 1987 handwritten note by Michael Jackson, the artist proclaimed his desire to be considered much like Elvis as a king, and at the same time combat racism that plagued so many of the greats in music's past. Quote, "Throughout history, white men have always branded the pages of history with great white hopes, putting whites over blacks as nobles, like Elvis being the king of rock and roll, Springsteen being the boss, and the Beatles being the best. Yes, these guys were good, but they weren't better singers or dancers than the blacks. The difference is that whites control the press, the media, and they can make the public believe whatever they desire. I will change this now. I will..."
All right, my man. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see "I will change." CHANG. Is this a E? Like, this handwriting is beyond sloppy.
"Rule as the king." This explicit statement revealing Jackson's desire to not only succeed in his own personal ambitions, but to end prejudice and forge a path for future black heroes to claim status within their chosen fields, as he would himself by becoming the first, quote, black king. Rebranding himself as the king of pop, akin to Elvis's king of rock and roll, Jackson was challenged at almost every step in this pursuit. As Eric Snyder from the St. Petersburg Times noted, quote, "Showbiz nicknames have been around for a long time. The one most etched in the American psyche is Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, which is why the king of pop may hang around for a while as a second reference, but will not catch on with the public. He'll never be the king, as there already is one." But, in striving to become not just a winner, but a superstar bigger than Elvis himself, Michael felt unfairly handicapped. According to Vanity Fair's Maureen Orth, he complained to his managers that record stores carried Elvis but few other black artists. He added that the industry had conspired against him. Quote, "After I broke Elvis's sales and the Beatles' sales." Years rolled on and Michael Jackson's king-like tendencies intensified as his wealth and status grew in the world of entertainment. No king would be without his own kingdom to reside over. Elvis had Graceland that allowed him to find solace and calm he often sought away from the spotlight. Michael created Neverland, a place to reclaim Jackson's lost childhood, where he could escape into his own fantasies.
That's the documentary somebody commented too. Shout out to bro too. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate people who comment and tune in and things of that nature. Check out Neverland documentary. You know that's what he told me to watch.
That became mirror images in their extravagances, excesses, ailments.
I gotta find out what happened to Elvis. I'm gonna do a video on that.
They gave away Cadillacs, houses, and donated millions to charities. They spent king's ransoms on prescription steroids, sedatives, and painkillers to treat their increasing ailments. Both were tortured with severe migraines and insomnia. In drug-induced half-sleep, they had nightmares of being murdered, triggered by the death threats they received regularly. Their physical transformations were extreme, leaving them as shadows of their former selves. Elvis, a gorgeous, highly sexual performer who burst onto the scene seemingly out of nowhere in the 1950s, ended up a bloated leading man whose good looks had faded as he battled with health and weight problems. Similarly, the public witnessed Michael Jackson start his career as the adorable, charismatic lead singer of the Jackson 5, eventually evolving into a strange, almost alien-like caricature of his former self.
God damn, my nigga. God damn. I mean, nah, damn, still.
The Jackson-Presley connection would...
I'm saying, like, damn, like, you see the description he just gave? He started off as what did he say?
Similarly, the public witnessed Michael Jackson start his career as the adorable, charismatic lead singer of the
adorable, charismatic lead singer
Jackson 5, eventually evolving into a strange, almost alien-like...
God damn, bro.
Like caricature of his former self. The Jackson-Presley connection would become cemented in law, with the marriage of Michael and Elvis's only child, Lisa Marie Presley.
Hey, yo, let's say they was beefing for real. Let's say this is like a rap beef, right? And then he went and got with his daughter. would that's that would have been crazy. Clearly, it wasn't no beef with them. The media just kind of put them against each other. Fans put them against each other or whatever. But that would have been crazy.
In 1994, the daughter of the king of rock and roll seeing eerie similarities in both icons when it came to their fixation on their own imminent death and self-destructive tendencies. With stories circulating that Michael planned to buy the remains of the Elephant Man, and in the 1970s, former bodyguards reported that Elvis liked to tour funeral homes and inspect embalmed bodies. Michael asked Lisa Marie to recount every intimate detail of her father's traumatic death, revealing to his then wife that he believed he would die young and in much the same manner.
What?
Quote, I became very ill and emotionally/spiritually exhausted in my quest to save Michael from certain self-destructive behavior, Lisa Marie Presley said, claiming that her husband told her, quote, with an almost calm certainty, I am afraid that I am going to end up like him the way he did.
What?
The king's daughter concluded, quote, the exact scenario I saw happen on August 16th, 1977, happened again with Michael, just as he predicted.
Wait, hold on. So this man was saying to her he felt he was gonna die? Is this cap? Like, it's a video. I really want. That's why I want y'all to comment down below, especially people who are like older in their 30s, 40s, whatever, who are 50s, who are around for this shit. Because I was 24. I was still. I wasn't even thought of. God hadn't even. You feel me? He didn't even think of me yet. You know what I'm saying? Especially the Elvis shit. At least Michael Jackson, I was alive for a good 9-10 years before he died. The Elvis, I don't know shit about him, except that Uncle Jesse was his biggest fan. So he was telling her this. This is why I say that all that, if this is true, all that fame shit, bro, if you don't, that's why I kind of like how I got it. Like, I like that I was able to work a job, try to go to the league, play sports, play basketball, you know what I'm saying, develop friendship, be a kid. You get what I'm saying? Because all this shit, it come with shit. And I don't know if I would be able to handle that. I wanted to, I can't, I would never take back or try to change the route I took. Because I have everything. I've worked a job. I know what it's like to have to earn money, work a real, you know, I'm not going to say a real job, but work a job, get the 9 to 5. I know what it feels like, be in school, you know, after school programs, all that shit. I've been there. So once I graduate from that, I look back and I can smile like, you know what, I did that shit. Other people who are doing what I'm doing, they might not have done all the shit that I did. So I have no regrets. I have no, man, I wish I could have did this, wish I could have did that. You get what I'm saying?
On the verge of bankruptcy and wildly considered as has-beens, their long-standing addictions to prescription drugs resulted in a final overdose, them both suffering from cardiac arrests.
Damn.
Sudden deaths that shook the world at its core. The hours after Jackson's passing, Canadian singer Celine Dion claimed it felt, quote, like when Kennedy died, when Elvis Presley died. We are not only talking about a talented person dying, it's an amazing loss. Back in 1977, it was a big deal when networks led their newscasts with Elvis's death. But compare that to the 24-hour rolling news coverage and media circus that ensued in the aftermath of Jackson's own demise, it was night and day, and exhibits a vastly increased interest in pop cultural figures. In the coming days, articles analyzing the similarities between Jackson and Presley were ubiquitous and inevitable considering the similarities in their careers, triumphant paths, and tragic downfalls. Beyond the impact they made during their life and death, the two music icons have experienced a cult of mystique that surrounds their legacies. Mystique Michael Jackson cultivated in life, now cemented in death. King's stories will persist concerning Michael's private life, that Elvis's hair was naturally blonde, that he shot at TVs. What's true? What isn't? We still don't really know. That uncertainty is part of the King's legend. So many refuse to believe the simple fact that Elvis or Michael Jackson are indeed dead. When a syndicated special called The Elvis Files aired in 1991, 79% of the people who phoned the program said they believed Elvis was still alive. People have reported seeing the King of Rock and Roll everywhere from Las Vegas, where he's in hiding.
I hate when people do shit like that, that weird ass shit, bro. That conspiracy, like some shit, bro. The conspiracy motherfuckers, bro. You gotta watch out for them. Some shit do be having me like, let me tune into this. Let me, educate myself. But a lot of that shit, bro, y'all just be
Possibly in the federal witness protection program, to a Kalamazoo Burger King. And we have all seen the viral speculations online over Michael Jackson's many supposed disguises and sightings. Quote, "I think it's his death that's propelled him to this super mystique," said Kay Sloan, an English professor at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. Quote, "I think you almost have to be dead to be as big as Elvis. Or, as the figures show now, Michael Jackson in that case." Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give us a like and hit subscribe.
rest in peace. To both. But I didn't know Elvis. No disrespect. I didn't know you, but rest in peace. I didn't know neither one of y'all, but I listened to Michael Jackson. But rest in peace, man. If y'all like this video, y'all know what to do. Get this video to 10 likes. I'll get y'all another Michael Jackson video. Y'all comment down below which one y'all want. Get this video to 10 likes. Rest in peace to Kari, ex my grandma, both our grandmas, and I'm gone.